Many thanks to Ben Hanneman and the videography crew who put together that remarkable video. One of my absolute favorite lines in the video is the parent, Carisha Hill, who said, "At St. Marcus, everything is not about school. It's about life." The reason why I love that line is, first of all, because it's true. Secondly, because a parent just offers it up, recognizing that our commitment goes beyond just academics. And thirdly, because that line provides a fundamental insight into why you and I are called to courage. You see, because the reality is that one of the reasons why we have such widespread failure, particularly amongst low-income students in our city, is because for too many adults, teaching is a job. And the job is understood to be that children walk in the door at the beginning of the day, and the educator's job is to teach math and reading and history and social studies. And sometimes they do it well, and sometimes they do it badly, and then at the end of the day, the children walk out of the door. And when the purpose of a school is solely to educate in this kind of a community, it just doesn't work. And so the amazing thing to me about St. Marcus is that for our workers, it isn't a job. It is a calling, it is a ministry, and it is a passion. And we absolutely are committed to rigorous academic instruction so that every child who leaves our school is equipped to be successful in the world. But we would recognize that before we can deal with the academics, first we must deal with identity. That we have to look at every single child, and regardless of their family circumstance or their community, to make sure that as we hold out the word of life, that every child understands that they are a redeemed child of God, created uniquely. Children first must understand that they have purpose. And so we deal with the question of identity, and after we have dealt with the question of identity, we deal with the issue of character. That people who follow the Lord Jesus Christ are people who serve others, who live with integrity, who work hard, who stay committed to a goal, who persevere. And our staff are amazing, because that is their secondary goal, is to build character in children. And once we have established identity and we have established character, then we go about the academics. This key ingredient to the DNA of St. Marcus can only fully be appreciated if we understand the lives of the children. And one of the things that's so interesting to me is that we have an event like tonight. You were probably greeted by children at the front door, and they were in just beautiful uniforms, and they probably had a firm handshake and eye contact and a smile, and they just look awesome, don't they? And then I do tours. It's hilarious because 9 out of 10 classrooms we go into, the teacher is teaching passionately, and the kids are sitting up straight, and their hands are up, and there's this energy because kids are learning like crazy. And yet, what I know to be true is that what you're seeing either at this gala or in those classrooms on a tour is a facade. It is this outside. And it gives the impression that St. Marcus is a great school because the kiddos walk in the door and they sit down and they smile. They're ready to learn. And we miss what's going on the inside. And so I was wrestling with this theme, a call to courage. And what I wanted to do was to expose, to provide a window into the lives of some kids. And I was wrestling because I didn't know how to do it. And then I sat in this very room about 10 days ago as we were having a middle school poetry night. And middle schooler after middle schooler walked up this ramp and came out here, and through the written and spoken word of their own poetry, they provided this glimpse into their lives. And sometimes I laughed, but more often than not, I was holding back tears as they talked of their hopes and their fears and their anxieties and the pressure that they feel. And I had my answer. That this evening you needed to hear one or two of those poems as children just open up. And so I invited a 6th grader, Eric Isabel, and a 7th grader, Jaden Goldenparr, to come out and give you a window into the real lives of the issues that our children are facing. So please join me in welcoming out here 6th grader Eric and 7th grader Jaden.
My poem is entitled, I Miss You, Dad. Do you know how it feels when your friends talk about their dad? Does it make you feel bad? It pains me. It breaks my spirit. I don't know my dad, and sometimes it makes me very sad. What is he doing with his life? Is he in jail, or is he thinking about the grief he caused when he left? Does he have a better family? Does he hate the fact that I'm black? If so, I want to know. Do I see him every day and not know it? Does he believe in Jesus Christ? I could use some advice. If I see him, what would he do? Would he ask, who are you? I feel heartbroken, but the Spirit of God is greatly spoken. And because he forgave me, I forgive you, Dad.
We need to stop the KFC. I'm not talking about the chicken or the food. I'm talking about death over name brand shirts, name brand pants, and popular shoes. And to be honest, it's really all the same, as long as the brand has a name. And now I'm back to the shoes. If you think it's worth taking someone's life, then you're a fool. $100, $200, $300 shirts. You buy it just to go out with your friends or go to the club and try to flirt. But when the girls don't even notice or care how much the shirt is worth, you walk back to your bros and tell them that the shirt ain't even work. But instead, you could buy a nice suit to wear to church and ask God for help and to hear the message in his word. And this verse is for the fools who think it's worth taking someone's life just to rock their ice and think that just because you got it on, you look nice. But no. Life ain't all about looking nice or rocking ice. It's about praising the true God and true Christ, because he gave up his life as a sacrifice for us to live eternally in paradise. So after hearing this, I hope you all rock a better life.
I want to thank the young men for, I don't know, to me, when you talk about a call to courage, for them to write that and come out and share it to their peers, and then to do that tonight, I find remarkable. I would be remiss not to recognize their parents. Eric's mother and grandfather are here, and Jaden's mother and grandmother are here. I can't see you, but if you would please stand right down here. Thank you. And so, when we talk about a call to courage, you know, I know nothing about fatherlessness, not as a boy. I know nothing about homelessness. I know nothing about abandonment. And yet, when I walk around this building, I don't necessarily see really awesome functional classrooms where kids are learning reading and math. I see adults who are framing identity in kids and building character and assuring them that they are loved and that they have purpose. You know, the second reason why I believe we need to answer the call to courage is because we serve an awesome God who is so courageous. He sent his son, Jesus Christ, to die for the sins of the world. And then he called us to be his people and to follow, and to reach out to our community in love. One of my great biblical heroes is Nehemiah. If you haven't read this story, take some time to read the story of Nehemiah. He is the cupbearer to the king of Babylon, and he has followed the call to comfort. He is just in a great spot. And one day, these three folks come from Jerusalem, and they report to Nehemiah, the city is a disgrace. The walls of the city are broken down and the people are desperate. That description in Nehemiah chapter 1 reminds me of Milwaukee. And Nehemiah at that point has two options: to continue to follow the call to comfort or to follow the call to courage. And he does the latter, and in great fear and anxiety, he goes up to the king and he says, "O king, let me go back to Jerusalem and rebuild the walls of the city." And to his shock, the king says, "Nehemiah, go. And I'm going to give you an army to protect you, and I'm going to give you the materials you need to rebuild the walls." And you know what? Nehemiah's journey was not an easy one. There was opposition, and there was discouragement, and there was defeat. But Nehemiah, in faith, answering the call to courage, rebuilt the wall of Jerusalem, and the city was restored. And so it is that I believe that we as a community have been called as the hands and the feet of Jesus to come into places where children and families are hurting and are trapped in cycles of poverty, and to partner with them and to offer them hope and to offer them purpose. You know, I know clearly what the call to courage has looked like for me. I don't know necessarily what the call to courage looks like for you. I do know that there are dozens of men and women in this room who have given financially in a way that actually hurt, where they made deep sacrifices so that the children that we serve could be in buildings like this and could get identity and character and hope and purpose. I know that some of you have invested personally in the lives of families and children, that you have just gotten down there and gotten to know them and helped them in their time of need. Some of you, like Jennifer Bartolotta, have changed your lives. You know, Jennifer, this story was in the Biz Times just on Thursday. Go ahead and read it. It's remarkable. She was at this gala 3 years ago, and she felt so convicted by the courage that she saw in the children that night she told Joe she was resigning from the Bartolotta restaurant group and she was going into full-time philanthropy. Jennifer answered the call to courage 3 years ago. My hope and prayer is that tonight and as we move forward, not just us, but a growing army of people would answer the call to courage to serve the broken children of this city. In closing, as you invest in incredible ways in this ministry, I want to ensure you that you are partnering with individuals in a ministry that are radically committed to answering the call to courage to serve as many children as we possibly can, but not to do it all ourselves, to continue to partner with the incredible schools and organizations who are doing the same work. I think of Schools That Can Milwaukee and the Center for Urban Teaching and PAVE, schools like Milwaukee Lutheran High School and Wisconsin Lutheran High School, schools like Milwaukee College Prep and Mount Lebanon and the Lumen schools and the Hope schools and the Hmong American Peace Academy. These are schools that are part of a movement that are bound and determined to deliver high-quality education to children in our city so that our city has hope. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for answering the call to courage. It's now my joy and privilege to welcome to the stage for the main student performance our cherub choir and our junior choirs who will perform the song, The Power of One. I believe, as these students believe, that when we come together as one, under the authority and power of our Lord Jesus Christ, that we can change not only our city, but that we can change the world. Amen. Please join me in welcoming our cherub and junior choirs.